What's up, everybody? This is part 4 of the Thomas Takes Sports podcast, as I was joined by DeShaan Vincent.
Yeah. So then now it's like, you can't lead with your helmet anymore, or helmet to helmet, so you're staying away from that type of contact. So now we're just diving at knees. So, yeah, good luck with ACLs and MCLs.
Rob Gronkowski, man, he's had some nasty ACL injuries. Injuries that when TJ Ward took his legs out, oh my God, that I thought he was dead. I really did. It was awful. One of the worst. If you've never seen that hit, when TJ Ward knocked Rob Gronkowski out of the game, it was when TJ Ward was on the Browns. Oh, just brutal. His legs, for that big of a man, for his legs to go over his head, that's a hard hit. Yeah, you know, we both love football. One thing I've noticed from time to time and seeing your stuff on Facebook and stuff, you're a mixed martial arts fan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What, you know, tell me about that. How did you start watching it, and who are some of your favorite guys? Or girls, you could say, too.
I was a big Ronda fan. I loved her, actually.
Yeah.
Found to marry her and all that, you know. But after that loss, I feel like I don't even know what she's doing now. I don't know if she's coming back. I don't know.
Nobody does.
I don't know what's on her mind.
Nobody does. And I don't even think she does. I really don't. I've thrown some shade at her from time to time, but it's the same reason of what you said. When you know someone's great and then they don't respond in times of adversity after a loss, it's like, come on. Like, you could come back. You could blow everybody away. If you want to
sport.
Yeah, you want to see her rise again, and I don't know if we will. UFC 202, though, is August 20th, this Saturday. Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz 2, or Diaz McGregor 2, now that Nate Diaz is coming off that win. He's got all the attention on him. The main billing on the card. What do you think of Conor McGregor, and what do you think of just this crazy meteoric rise that he's had over the last year and a half, and obviously the Nate Diaz and McGregor fight?
I think it's almost the same with Ronda, like how I feel about McGregor. Like, I loved McGregor at the beginning, and I think he was just an absolute idiot for trying to jump up in the fight at that level. Like, it's one of the dumbest things that I've ever seen an athlete do.
Yeah.
I think that in his head, he knew, he's not even really a great fighter. He's like a mediocre fighter. But he's a mediocre fighter at that weight class. So when you jump up to that weight class, you're not taking hits from, like, the guys that you thought you were taking hits from before, you know what I mean? Like, when you take a punch at this weight class, you move up. Now that punch is a little heavier, it's a little harder.
And the punches that you throw on another guy that's bigger than you aren't going to fold him the way that they did when he was ruling the roost at 145 pounds. And I know I wrestled for a very short time, and I really enjoyed it. One of my biggest regrets is not wrestling longer, because I really enjoyed it. Not to say that I enjoyed, other dudes sweating on me and stuff. I enjoyed going to practice every day, working hard as an individual. Really, you build every piece of yourself, mentally, physically, and if you have a good day of practice, it's, there's always the next day, just like in anything. And it had a real individual feel to it, and I really love that about it. And one thing I know, just from my time as a wrestler, when you're playing with weight and you're talking about wrestling someone, I wrestled at 135 pounds. So when I wrestled at 135 and then I dropped down and wrestled at 125, there was a huge difference. And that's in a light. That's in a light weight class. That's 10 pounds. Everyone's like, oh well, that's 10 pounds. It's not just 10 pounds. It's quicker, faster, you could almost say stronger for the lighter weight, because those guys move so quick that they have to use their strength just as fast, as a heavier guy would. When he moved up to 170, that was my big fear about that fight. And not only is he fighting at 170, but he's fighting a guy that's 6'1" with real long, lanky limbs. And he throws punches long. You could have reach, but if you're just throwing punches just to throw them, that reach doesn't even matter. Nate Diaz uses distance really well. And when you're saying he was mediocre, I in a sense I agree to that, because his wins-loss record is 20-10. So, MMA is not boxing, though. Like with Floyd Mayweather, his undefeated streak, boxing's built a little bit differently. You could lose 3 times in a row in mixed martial arts, and it almost doesn't matter. That's one of the things I like about it. And on any given night, somebody can win. What's your prediction for? I think I already might know, given what we just talked about. But what's your prediction with McGregor and Diaz 2? What do you think will go down on Saturday night?
I think he takes another loss, but I think this one is really going to hurt his career now. Like you just said, you can take a couple losses and keep going. But for instance, Nate Diaz.
He's different.
Like McGregor made Nate Diaz where he's at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Nate had a couple big fights and probably lost all the big fights he's ever had.
He did.
But, never made the amount of money that he's making now if it wasn't for McGregor. And I feel like McGregor, I think he'll lose this fight again. And now it's just like, what are you going to go back down and fight at that weight class that you're supposed to be fighting at? And if you lose that one, you might as well retire. But it's like, I just feel like he made a huge mistake. And now he's trying to fix that mistake by going at it again. And if he does it again, if he does win, they're probably going to go for the third.
Yeah, they will. That's
a big hole.
That's a certainty. That's if he wins this fight, they're gonna do a rubber match. They're gonna do a rubber match. And if he wins, if Nate Diaz wins this fight and he's got 2 wins over McGregor, I'm not saying that this will happen. This is what I think will happen. I'm not saying I know that this is going to happen, but this is what I think will happen. If Nate Diaz wins the fight and he takes 2 fights from Conor McGregor, then he's going to get the title shot at 155 pounds against Eddie Alvarez. If Conor wins, he's going to get a rubber match against Nate Diaz again, and they'll strip him of that 145-pound belt, because you can't carry around a belt for over a year and not defend it. That's ridiculous. It's a sideshow. It's becoming it's becoming a little. It's ridiculous now, as you said, but for that long, that's just not. It's not. It doesn't look good. And if he does lose to Diaz, it doesn't make him look good to lose and then go back down to a division that he's better at that division, because obviously he's the champion, but fight for fight, he can land harder punches against these guys because they're smaller and he's bigger than them. So it's like the pick on somebody your own size thing, where he's picking on a guy that's a lot bigger than him, and he's losing, or he lost, then he'll go back down and pick on little itty bitty, 145-pound fighters. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good.
Do you think there was a reason behind all that?
Behind what in particular?
Why he was basically, from what it's looking like, forfeit his belt at that class and come up to fight at a different one instead of just defending your title, doing what you should be doing with the belt.
Yeah, well, I think, I think there is a reason for that. The reason why he wanted to go from 145 to 155. He wanted to be a 2-weight champion, and he was going to go up against Rafael dos Anjos, and Rafael dos Anjos stubbed his toe and was being a little baby and decided to pull out of the fight or whatever. And he pulled out of that fight, and then, it was 11 days outside that fight. Nate Diaz stepped in, took the fight, and that's all she wrote. But what's kind of lost in history, like people are kind of forgetting this, and it's really easy to, is that he was going up to 155 to fight Rafael Dos Anjos, who at that time was the lightweight champ. He just lost his belt to Eddie Alvarez. Now, or at that point, Conor, now with that, Rafael Dos Anjos breaking his foot, Conor had to move up to welterweight to fight Nate Diaz, because Nate Diaz was out of shape. He was on a yacht in Cabo. He was not even training. That's true. He wasn't even training. He was completely out of shape. So, that first round, and, McGregor fans are like, oh, he tore him apart in the first round. He was supposed to. If he didn't tear him apart in the first round, then he should never even think of going up another weight class again, or another two weight classes. But really, he hates cutting weight, and it's not fun to cut weight. And he cuts a lot of weight. He really walks around probably at 165, 168 pounds, and he cuts down to and he was cutting down to 145 for so long. Now what they have is, before they would have you weigh in the day before the fight at 7 o'clock Eastern time for the live weigh-ins on Fox Sports 1. Now what they have, a lot of athletic commissions are turning to this now, starting to side towards this now. They're starting to go with a plan in which you weigh in early that morning, so your body has like 6 to 8 hours longer to rehydrate, which is huge. Oh, wow. Which is huge, and really, it's going to make the sport safer, better, and guys basically completely dehydrate themselves to fight or to make weight, and then they rehydrate in in basically less than 24 hours time in fight, which is terrible for the brain, for oxygen, for everything. So that's kind of an answer to your question. But besides Conor McGregor and Ronda Rousey, who's a guy that, or girl maybe, that even stands out to you besides those two?
The Spider, Silva. I think he's I think, to me, he's the best that I've ever seen.
Yeah, I would.
And that's without bringing John Jones into the equation.
Oh, jeez. Why'd you mention that?
But John Jones, I feel like he ruined his career, obviously. I feel like he's probably done. But John Jones, I feel like, was the most unstoppable fighter.
Yeah, he was.
Of all time.
He's the complete package. He's got the height, the range, the elbows, the kicks, the wrestling. He's got everything. There's no weakness. I mean, the only weakness he showed was when he fought Gustafsson, a guy that was a similar size to him, which I actually thought he lost that fight, but it was so close. It could have went either way. But that was an insane fight. But yeah, the Spider, John Jones, if that could happen at some point. I know Anderson Silva's past his prime, but if that could have happened, that would have been like the fight of all fights. If John Jones fought Anderson Silva, that would have been a good one. But yeah, you think Diaz is gonna win? What round would you say?
I feel like Diaz could literally win in so many different ways. I feel like this is an unfair fight, to be completely honest. Because this time, now he's going to be in shape.
Yep.
On top of being bigger, stronger, all this stuff. So, I don't think, probably by submission again.
Yeah, probably by submission. And he's hungry to prove a point. He's always trying to prove a point that McGregor got a push from the UFC like nobody else, and I agree with that. I do agree with that. But thank you for joining me on the show, man. It's been a good time talking to you about the Cowboys and the UFC and Tyrod Taylor and all that stuff. Hopefully you guys listening here enjoyed it. Thanks a lot for joining me, DeShaan. It was a good time. We'll have you on again.